devotion, dedication. Also, you know, she's got maybe she's too humble to say, too modest to say, but she's got a great fighting spirit, no doubt. She's a warrior, goes out there and doesn't give a single game. Actually, she has probably the most bagels of anyone in women's tennis.
Some moments stand out as game changers in a world where every tennis player strives for excellence. One of the biggest names in tennis today, Coco Gauff, saw a turning point when Novak Djokovic, often regarded as the greatest of all time, invited her to practice with him in advance of the 2026 season. In the constantly changing world of tennis, this would appear to be just another piece of news, but it has inspired something much deeper. Tension. The tennis community was shocked by the invitation, which was intended to improve Coco's performance and get her ready for the upcoming Grand Slam season, particularly for one specific player. Sabalenka Arena. Sabalenka, who has long dominated the women's tennis scene, is now in a dangerous position. Coco Gauff is working non-stop with Novak Djokovic to hone her technique and get ready for the 2026 season as she gets ready for an exhibition match at the Battle of the Sexes, a competition where she'll be demonstrating her skills in a less competitive setting. Sabalenka feels threatened by the glaring difference between their preparedness. The question is whether Gauff will overtake Sabalenka in the rankings and eventually take her desired position at the top under Djokovic's professional coaching.
It speaks about how seriously and professionally she's taking every single point and game on the court. So that's very admirable. I really like that kind of champion spirit and mindset.
It goes without saying that numerous players, both male and female, have benefited much from Novak Djokovic's mentoring. His ability to read the game, his unmatched work ethic, and his discipline have made him an ideal tutor. The tennis community took note when Djokovic asked Coco Gauff to practice with him for the 2026 season. There was more to the invitation than just a few practice sessions. It was a declaration that Djokovic thought golf might become the dominant sport. Being able to train with one of the best tennis players in history is a dream come true for Gauff, who is just starting her prime. Djokovic's choice to devote time and effort to assisting her in raising her level of performance says loudly. Having Djokovic's support and direction could be the advantage Coco needs to make a significant impact in a sport where mental toughness frequently makes the difference between success and failure. Djokovic has more faith in Gauff's abilities than just words. He has openly expressed his confidence that Gauff will rule the 2026 campaign. These remarks are more than merely motivating to Gauff. They attest to her diligence and willpower. Gauff can now reach new heights with the support of a tennis legend like Djokovic. Equipped with the conviction that she can accomplish anything, this is more than a technical coaching collaboration. It has to do with attitude, self-assurance, and future vision. Gauff is already working to improve every facet of her game as the 2026 season approaches. She is making every effort, from honing her serve to perfecting her footwork and changing the way she thinks about the game. Gauff is not merely getting ready for the season thanks to Djokovic's knowledge. She is getting ready to triumph, win the Grand Slams, and establish herself as one of the greatest in the world. It's obvious that Djokovic thinks golf is unique, and he's doing all in his power to make sure she's prepared to take on the challenge of representing women's tennis in 2026.
Devotion, dedication. Also, she's got maybe she's too humble to say, too modest to say, but she's got a great fighting spirit, no doubt. She's a warrior, goes out there and doesn't give a single game. Actually, she has probably the most bagels of anyone in women's tennis.
Sabalenka is dealing with a different reality as Coco Gauff prepares for the upcoming season. Sabalenka has been preoccupied on the forthcoming exhibition match at the Battle of the Sexes rather than the technical parts of her game. Even though this game is unquestionably significant, it is not as crucial as getting ready for the Grand Slams and the intense grind of the regular season. Sabalenka's focus appears to be split, which has caused her to doubt her future course. The idea of losing her top spot in the world might be intimidating for a player like Sabalenka, who has put in many hours to get there. Golf under Djokovic's tutelage would be a terrible pill to chew for Sabalenka, who has worked hard to establish her dominance. As the tide of tennis starts to turn in Coco's favor, it is evident that Sabalenka is starting to feel the pressure. Sabalenka's fear is genuine. Under the guidance of one of the greatest players of all time, she witnesses Gauff, a player she once considered a peer, rapidly developing. Gauff is preparing for more than just the 2026 campaign. Sabalenka is aware that she is setting herself up to be a serious contender for the Grand Slam titles. As Sabalenka moves into the next stage of her career, the fear of losing her position at the top of the rankings to Gauff has started to consume her. In the world of tennis, players come and go, and rankings can change quickly. Long a dominant force, Sabalenka is now up against a new obstacle. One of the greatest players to have ever taken the court is developing a rising star. Sabalenka is finding it difficult to embrace this challenge. Coco Gauff is quietly but confidently moving up the ranks while Sabalenka struggles with the prospect of losing her top spot. Gauff is changing her game in subtle and significant ways under the knowledgeable direction of Novak Djokovic. Her play is being examined, polished, and enhanced in every way. Gauff is more than just a strong player with a potent serve. She is developing into a player with a thorough comprehension of the game. A player who can change and grow to meet the challenges of the greatest in the world. Gauff's ascent is all the more amazing because she has the backing of one of the most illustrious people in tennis history. In addition to helping her improve her technique, Djokovic is giving her the mentality needed to compete at the top levels of the sport. Gauff is ready to step up her game under Djokovic's guidance. It's also possible that she may establish herself as one of the world's top players in 2026. Sabalenka's preparations and Gauff's are very different. While Gauff is immersing herself in the technical and mental aspects of the game, Sabalenka seems distracted by events that are not directly related to the upcoming season. This discrepancy in focus is evident to anyone watching from the outside, and it could have serious implications for both players' futures in the sport. As Gauff continues to work with Djokovic, it becomes increasingly clear that she is positioning herself to be a dominant force in women's tennis. With each passing day, her game becomes sharper, her confidence grows, and her ability to compete at the highest level becomes undeniable. Gauff is not just preparing for the next season. She is prepared for a future filled with Grand Slam championships and tennis stardom. The fact of Gauff's rising trajectory is something that Sabalenka is difficult to comprehend. For years, Sabalenka has enjoyed the comfort of being at the top with little competition threatening her perch. But now with Coco Gauff coming up fast, that sense of comfort is swiftly evaporating. Sabalenka is watching as Gauff, a player she once saw as a potential rival, becomes a serious competitor for the top spot in the rankings. Sabalenka's struggle is not merely one of competition, it has to do with identity. The idea of losing the top rank in the sport is hard to handle for a player who has put in so much effort to get there. Sabalenka's pride and her belief that she is the best in the world are at stake. The possibility of outperforming her in golf is more than simply a career obstacle. It is a personal one. Sabalenka's panic is a reflection of the deep-seated concern that she might not be able to hold on to the dominance she has worked so hard to achieve. The resistance Sabalenka feels toward this transition is natural. No athlete wants to see their reign end, especially when they have worked so hard to get to the top. But tennis, like all sports, is a game of growth. The sports landscape is always changing, with new players emerging and old players fading. Sabalenka is finding it difficult to accept that her time at the top may be coming to an end. The women's tennis scene is about to undergo a significant change as the 2026 season draws near. Coco under Novak Djokovic's leadership, Gauff is getting ready for the Grand Slams with a polished game and a revitalized focus. As a new generation of players led by Gauff emerges as the sport's future, Aryna Sabalenka is left struggling with the dread of losing her top status. These two players have a fierce rivalry, with Gauff's ascent endangering Sabalenka's hegemony. Although Sabalenka might not be prepared to accept this change in the rankings, tennis is a constantly changing sport, and the next generation is always prepared to take its place. Gauff will undoubtedly have a significant impact on how women's tennis develops in 2026 as Djokovic's support for the sport becomes more apparent and her career trajectory keeps improving. Even while Sabalenka is currently in a panic, the true question is whether she can adjust to the upcoming changes or if a new tennis titan will overtake her. How has Novak Djokovic's mentoring affected Coco Gauff's career, in your opinion? Do you think this collaboration will help her achieve success in 2026? What are your thoughts on the escalating competition between Sabalenka and Gauff? Can Sabalenka withstand the pressure of keeping her top spot? Or should a fresh tennis star take over? How significant is the influence of tennis greats like Djokovic on a player's career trajectory? Do you believe that the dynamics of women's tennis are changing? And if so, how will this affect the sport's future? Tell us what you think.